how the communities in South Asia, Southeast Asia differ in responding to innovations. I found that SATO has impacted the life of so many people, approximately 82 million people across 46 countries. That's a lot. Oh my god. And from a brand perspective, how significant can simple technology like SATO be shaping the future of global sanitation?
That's a fantastic question, and that's a question which is really close to every member of SATO, who has working for it, no matter where we are in the. So, being a part of LIXIL, we want to make sure that everything that we do is creating impact. Every technology that we innovate, every conversation that I have, we're trying to make an impact. But one of the simplest things of how we make impact is the complete sanitation economy that we create around. Wow. So it's not just about the product. Yeah, it's not just about the product. We innovate the product once we understand the need. Like I just said.
Yeah.
Right?
Sobat Ngopi, welcome, very big welcome back to the news episode of Ngopi, Ngobrol Perihal Sanitasi. So Sobat Ngopi, I'm not gonna be tired of telling you that this podcast is collaboration between YSC Indonesia and SATO by LIXIL. SATO is a brand that produces toilet technology that has some benefits that the benefits are all incredible, such as it's fly-free, and also it's not stinky, and it's easy to install and maintenance. Okay, in this podcast also, we are going to sit back and relax and sipping our coffee while talking about one of the most important thing that we often forget, that is water and sanitation issues. And right now, I am already joined by one of the most incredible, amazing, and outstanding guests that's come from all the way from India, from overseas, Sobat Ngopi. It's my obligation to introduce our incredible guest, Anandita! Hello, Anandita. How are you?
I am great. I'm so happy to be back to Indonesia.
So good to see you. It's so good to finally meet you. We've been prepared for this podcast for you just to come. Actually, yeah, it's so good to see you. First of all, how's the journey? Coming from India.
It's been great. It was getting slightly colder in India, so it's nice to come back to a slightly warmer place. And of course, the warm people always adds to the warmth of Indonesia. And I love being here. And it's just a flight away, so it's not too bad.
Okay, it's cool. And so, but Ngopi, for information, Anandita has been working in the field of advertising and marketing for more than 15 years. You know what? 15 years is the age of my little sister. Just like it's a long time. So before we jump into our question, can you tell us more about yourself?
So like you said, I was in advertising and marketing. I've been there for over a decade, let's say 15 years, and I've been with SATO 5 years, and it's just been a great journey from finding innovative ways of talking about other brands to finding the right language that we can use for SATO, and I'm really excited about this, and I think this is the first time I'm doing this, so 15 years, but always a new experience.
Yeah, new experience.
Yes.
Okay, let's jump into the question though.
Yes.
The first question I just wanted to ask you, it's the intro question actually. As a leader of marketing in SATO for SATO Asia, and of course we all know that SATO is a global brand that working with and has a lot to do with sanitation issue. And the first question probably, what does sanitation really mean in everyday life for you, and what inspired you to focus on this field?
Okay, so I'll take the second half first.
Okay.
So the first time, as you said, I've been in advertising and marketing a long time. So the first time I heard about SATO, and there was something which they said, "Oh, would you market sanitation, or would you market toilets?" And I was like, "Oh my god!" But when I started reading about what they do, and of course about the amazing LIXIL experience, the company, I was completely drawn to it because sometimes very small things can make such a massive change, and SATO is one of them. So that's something which really pulled me into SATO, and that's what my experience with sanitation has been so far.
Small thing, big impacts.
Sorry?
Small things,
big impacts. Yes. So yes, that was the main, I think. What was the second part of your question?
What inspired you to focus on this field?
I think that's the main answer, and working with a global brand, like not just SATO but also LIXIL, working with them, and just the passion that everybody in the team globally has. us. I think it comes from the top, and like I just seen and worked with them and realized that there is so much we can do. Like you said, small changes, but there was so much we can do. That's why the group is in sanitation.
Interesting. 15 years is not a short period of time. It's so long. Okay, next question. As I said earlier, not as I said, I haven't said this. As what I've experienced as youth from Lampung, Indonesia, I knew that sanitation is not a very interesting topic for youth. We still got so many people that I want to say uneducated or haven't touched this field yet. Not very interesting issue for youth. And as from the marketing perspective, from the marketing aspect, related to that, how do you make this issue more appealing and relevant for young people?
So I definitely want to say that you've done a start with this podcast, and this is something definitely which is, making a difference. But with sanitation, there's a lot. So I think I somewhat agree with you, somewhat disagree with you. People don't know the amount that sanitation covers, right? If you're a great youth who collects plastics, that's also sanitation. If you're working in water, that's also sanitation. So I think definitely, they are interested. But yes, talking about toilets, if that's specifically what we say, it's not glamorous. I absolutely agree with you. Because it, we always imagine dirty toilets or stinky toilets. So they don't like to talk about toilets. But what I feel is now changing, and a lot of the government and other partners across the globe are focusing on how important sanitation is in our daily life. If you don't have a safe place for your monetary relations, you have a ruined life, you have a ruined day, and that's why better life every day. But I think the simplest way of doing this is, I have a few examples from Asia. One of them being from India. We actually have a very successful Bollywood film which is talking about sanitation. The sanitation is the hero there.
Tell me more about it.
The hero there. And that obviously started with the government funded project, which was Swachh Bharat Mission, which was let's get toilets made so that people can use it. So I think there is the trend is changing, and people like you will change the trend. But yes, sanitation was never really glamorous, but there are lots of ways of doing it. That could be, let's get more youth involved, let's get a song. I saw the beautiful hand washing that you had done. That was lovely. How can we make it more fun? Because if we have people talk about it more, when it's only when sanitation actually comes onto the table, dinner table conversations, is when we can see a drastic change happening, which is happening, but yes, a little bit more is required.
Yeah, because I have this concern that as youth, we still feel like sanitation is something, I don't know, probably disgusting for people. Yeah, but despite of that, it's very important issue to think about. Okay, next question. As a marketing leader, I am sure that you've managed multiple projects in SATO, right? Related to storytelling and narrative, especially. Have you ever faced probably this is an innovative product, SATO. We already know that. What is the most pushback that you have ever experienced?
So I won't say pushback, but definitely a lot of questions that we are faced in that, why this innovation? Why is it different? Why should we use it? Why should we move away from what we have currently? But I want to preface it by saying that only when we innovate do we actually get pushback. If we just follow along, then we follow along. So the innovation is what will push back. So it's only when we change, when something doesn't work. Only is the reason that we change is because we know that there is a requirement to change. We innovated because we saw that the existing solutions were not helping. People had toilets, they were not using it, or they were disagreeing, they just didn't want to get toilets done because, when it comes to working as a brand, when it comes to working with the actual end customers, we need to understand what they need. What is the need of the hour? What is the problem that they need a solution to? When we find that solution, we are able to then give it to them and say, hey, this is, giving them the option of, your experience can be better. If they don't know what's out there, if they don't know what are the other options that they have, if we don't give them those options, they don't know that their toilet experience can get better. And that I think is the most important thing. So for the pushback, it's always, but it's already working, right? What we have is working. But it's not, or maybe there is need for a shift in it, because there are still places where sanitation is untouched. It could be anything. It could be water scarcity, it could be land scarcity, it could be that getting it delivered, logistics is a big issue. So when we come up with a solution like the SATO products or the pan, the toilet, eye trap, we also realize that those are unsaid problems. So we have to get into why are people not actually using the toilets that they build? They've spent money on building. And so these are we have come up with a solution which we this is the reason why you need it. And when we explain it to them, we are able to understand, they are able to understand, okay, there is that solution. So it is, pushback is always, it's working, why are we changing it? And we're there is a better way of doing it. And let us help you get that better way. So,
hopefully SATO will make our toilet experience better.
It will.
Okay, make sure to check out SATO. Okay, next question. Each region in Indonesia, in Asia, has its own culture and needs. And from your experience, how do communities in South Asia, Southeast Asia differ in responding to innovations?
Okay, so Southeast Asia, Asia as a whole is, I think, the most diverse across the globe, I would say. And Southeast Asia and South Asia, they might be demographically and culturally different, but I think they're very humanly, inherently linked. So, some place, like I said, some place might have water issues, so water scarcity might be an issue. So they might need a solution for that. Some place, land scarcity might be an issue. But nobody wants a stinky toilet. So that's common.
I don't want it.
So I can go anywhere in the world and say nobody wants a stinky toilet. So I think that is, there is one of the things which has worked. But we always try and go into, or not try, we actually always go into a country and try to understand the exact sanitation requirements. So it's only when we put those solutions together do we bring it out and go to the customer. At SATO, the customer, even if you see the brand, the A and the T, customer at the heart of what we do. And so we want to make sure that, whenever we are reaching out to the customer, we are bringing the right solution for them. So that we don't get not that much pushback, but yes, we're trying to work with them to understand what their need is and to provide the solutions for that.
Okay, Anandita, as we know, Indonesia is such a diverse country with so much culture and religion and etc. etc. After visiting Indonesia, I want to ask you, what do you find interesting?
Okay. So I think as a country, it's one of the most interesting countries to be in. We not just in sanitation, but like you said, there's just so much diversity in culture, in language, in eating habits. It's excellent. So it's really interesting. On a personal level, as we just discussed, there are so many similar words. Which I'm more I'm talking and listening to you guys, talk, the more I'm catching those words, and I love it. I love how sometimes I can actually now understand half the conversation and say, oh, that answer, that word I get. So I think that's really interesting on a personal level. But on a interesting level when it comes to sanitation and SATO, I think just the requirements of Indonesia are very different. They're so different than any other country, in Asia that we're working in. So that might be Philippines or India, Bangladesh, which is water is not the main issue. Land also is not an issue, but it is the septic tank. So how do we actually work with the waste? And I think that for me was a really interesting takeaway, even when I, when I started working, when I first time came around and did the research and, understood about the product. And that's why we've also partnered with the, a local manufacturer who works in septic tanks, Aqualon, because it's also, important for us to show how our products work with the requirement of the country, which is, a septic tank. So I thought that was a very interesting take back for me. And I'm still learning more and I wish to learn more and I come back. But yes, I think that's